Hello, my beautiful mademoiselles. Welcome in. I hope you guys are doing well. Today, I want to talk about a topic that I feel we don't talk enough about. We always talk about self esteem, confidence, sensuality, all these things in terms of unlocking your femininity. But we never talk about this one thing that I actually believe is foundational. It's more stable than anything else, and that is self respect. Self respect and femininity are so intertwined, and I don't think a lot of people realize this. Sometimes when we say femininity, people would think, oh, that just means you just quiet yourself. Please the people around you. But actually, femininity thrives on you being this free flowing person, not you belittling yourself trying to appease to everyone. Feminine energy women walk with such a strong presence with them, and it is really difficult to actually unlock this femininity in you when you don't have self-respect, when you are constantly letting people cross boundaries and live to appease other people. What is self-respect? It is our internal sense of our own worth that we create for ourselves. It can't be given to you by someone else or something else. That means it can't be taken away from you either. It is purely behavioral, which means that we build our self respect based on how we treat ourselves, but also how we treat others as well. To give a little example, you see two people who are very wealthy. One achieved their wealth by working really hard, by persevering, by months and months and years of hard work. The other person gains all the wealth simply by gambling, all these sorts of quick fixes. Yes, you might envy the wealth of both people, but you actually might respect the first person more than the other person because of how they got to there. And self respect actually works the same way. You cannot fool yourself. Your subconscious, your mind is so intelligent. No amount of material riches, wealth, good looks can actually give you that self respect. It has to be earned by the way that you treat yourself and others. Let's get into the first treating ourselves. We need to have personal standards and boundaries. How do we have personal standards and boundaries? You actually first have to realize how valuable your time is. We only get 24 hours in a day, one life, and you can't just be handing it out to every single opportunity and every single person that comes to you. You have to be able to actually discern the things that are valuable of your time. It's so important to guard who has access to your time, and everyone will say this to you, but are you actually acting it out when a friend asks you last minute, hey, let's go to this bar, let's go clubbing, and you feel so scared to say no? You are disrespecting yourself. You're actually telling yourself that your goals, your values, your ambitions are not as important as this person's desire to go out with you last minute. See this also translate in relationships or situationships, I guess, today, where men who literally see no future with you give them time. That actually shows them that you have no self respect. They clearly have told you, or at least they have shown it through their actions, that they don't see a future with you, yet you still continue to make time for this man. You still respond right away when he calls you and he's like, come over to my place, it's 10 p.m., and you're rushing out your house just because you don't have enough self respect. Ladies, if you know in the bottom of your heart that you crave long-term relationship, you date to actually marry, you want long-term fulfillment in your relationships, and you know you can't be getting it from these short-term flings, say no to these men who actually don't see a future with you. By the way, from a male perspective, there's nothing more attractive than a woman who actually has self-respect, who has strong boundaries. You know what this does? It signals to them, oh, this woman, not a lot of men can get. I have to put myself to a standard. Actually, this gives me a challenge for me to pursue her and to show more to her. That makes a beautiful dynamic between a masculine, healthy masculine man and a healthy feminine woman who has self-respect. The minute I finally found self-respect, I spent enough time alone and I no longer entertained men who saw no future with me. I started attracting different kinds of men, men who actually want to stay long term, who plan things, who initiate things. This is so important. Back in the days when I just started dating, I had no self respect. Men who would plan things very last minute, plans like, oh, let's go to a bar, let's hang out with no clear intention. I just said yes to everything. That actually wasn't very attractive to the men I was seeing either. And the thing with self respect is you cannot make everyone happy, because if you do, you are a people pleaser. And we are not here to please humans. We're here only to please God, ladies. This sometimes means that you might upset people, okay? And it's totally, totally normal. Let me just tell you that it is okay and is actually really good if you start upsetting people. Friends who drain you, friends who don't value your time, friends who mock you. We don't have time for this. If you keep on allowing these kinds of friends into your life and you normalize this behavior, you're actually fully disrespecting yourself, and you're showing yourself that this is okay. It's okay to for people to treat me this way. And guess what? You normalize that behavior from other people, you normalize it with yourself too. And it goes vice versa as well. You start making negotiations to yourself, you start treating yourself as less worthy. For myself, I used to go out quite a lot, and with time, with gaining more respect of my time, I started saying no to a lot of things. And guys, when you say no, try to just say no without explanation. It is so powerful and so attractive as well when you're able to say, no, thank you, without explanation. The only exception is they ask you for an explanation, but until then, you don't need to constantly justify yourself. That is part of respecting yourself. I'm pretty sure you can think of this one person in your life that has tremendous self respect. Yes, not a lot of people like them, but dang, do we respect them because they really value their own sense of time, their priorities are straight. This also means that when a friend crosses your boundary, you need to be very clear on that and actually start addressing things. This particular instance happened to me quite recently where I felt like I was constantly being mocked or laughed at, and this person always says, it's a joke, it's a joke, it's a joke. And usually growing up, I would just brush it off. Okay, this person just likes to joke. I told that person, hey, this is not appropriate. Could you just please stop? I decided to not let it slip and to not normalize this behavior. Usually I would just joke around, haha, you're right. Even though these jokes were almost belittling me, reminding me of my past, it felt amazing. I felt so scared to do that, to actually address that and to confront the person of that, because this was a close friend. But hey, I also have a lot of self respect now. And I'm not going to let anyone, especially from my past, bringing me back where I was and trying to bring me down. And guess what? Sometimes the responses won't be the ones that you want. Not everyone's going to be like, oh, okay, I'll just stop doing that. Because this one person was clearly not really happy with how I reacted to this, and it was not nothing explosive, but really it showed me, okay, now I need to be more discerning of my friends. I need to be more selective. I don't want to be surrounded with people who belittle me, and when I address it, they take offense to that. And it actually shows you, is the other person actually here to spend time with you, or they love you, or is it that the moment you address something, you confront them with something and it hurts their ego, they don't want to do anything with you. It is so, so helpful. Friends, family, men, everything, you will be able to discern 100 times better when you actually have self respect. You remember, ladies, when I said that self respect is earned through ways that material wealth or people can't give to you, it is earned by ourselves. It also can't be taken away from you. So, that is the most beautiful thing about self respect. Nobody can take it away from you. It is not like self esteem, where if I wake up with 10 pimples on my face, I will suddenly start, oh, I don't like how I look today. But hey, self respect will actually be that voice that will stop me from deprecating and picking on every single flaw. I have enough self respect to not talk down on myself. It is a much more stable foundation than just self esteem, talking up on yourself, pep talks, all of these things. You won't actually let behaviors from other people or even from yourself that you used to allow in the past. So, how do you actually build up this self respect? First, we said get comfortable with saying no. Second, you have to have personal standards, and this includes having discipline. If you tell yourself that you're going to go to the gym, you're going to achieve that dream body, yet you never show up to the gym, you will slowly start losing respect for yourself. Imagine you make plans with someone else and that person keeps canceling on you last minute. Slowly, you will start losing respect for that person. And that goes the same for you as well. Discipline, taking care of your body, working out. I truly believe that working out is generally such a straightforward way to build that resilience and discipline, because you don't achieve that dream body overnight like that. You actually have to work for it. You have to show up every single day, not only when you feel like it. And this builds resilience, it builds discipline. Honestly, for myself, when I started working out, lifting weights when I was in my high school, my discipline grew so much more in other areas of my life as well. I want you ladies to actually start separating emotions and your duties, in a sense, or things that you have to do. No matter what, this stays here. Emotions, I kind of expect that most days I actually won't be super happy and smiling and wanting to work out. Like, no, most days I'm human. I have all these fleeting emotions, but hey, I'm sticking to this because this is what I told myself to do. This also includes hygiene, dressing well, particularly dressing well and actually liking the way that you look every single day. I work from home, so in the beginning, I would literally just wear sweats all day, never do my makeup, never really show up for myself. But once I started wearing these beautiful dresses, doing a very soft makeup, everywhere that I go, you will find me dressed up. It doesn't have to be extravagant, but actually liking what you look like. That is such a big factor. You have to actually enjoy and see yourself in the mirror and be like, wow, I like how I look today. When you look good, you suddenly want to do better. You show up to the world completely different. My ladies who work from home, I want you to change when you wake up in the morning from your pajamas to actual clothes that you can wear during the day. It could be loungewear, but make sure that you change and you show and indicate to yourself, I respect myself enough today to show up for myself. Even if I'm not going to see anyone, I respect myself enough that I'm going to show up for myself. And for self respect, you actually have to hold yourself accountable. We cannot continue having a victim mindset, ladies. Yes, there are a lot of things that happen to us as women, but what is it actually doing to us when we constantly blame other people for our problems? It gives us zero sense of control and no desire to actually want to change anything. Instead of giving excuses, really take ownership and accountability of your own actions and where they have led you. Yes, there are so many things and unfair things that have happened to you, including myself, but hey, this is my life and nobody has control over it other than me or other than God. We have to stop putting our lives into other people's hands. That is a victim mindset. Accountability is so key to actually strengthening our integrity and maturity, and that is key to self-respect. When you don't get your dream job, stop blaming the interviewer or the job market. Actually ask yourself, okay, what skills can I work on right now so that I can be unstoppable? Every company would want me in there, instead of, oh, that was the interviewer problem. And now you're just left with the same skills. You don't upskill yourself and you find yourself in a cycle of constantly blaming other than actually taking ownership. And that goes to my next point, which is do not lie. Have integrity with yourself. Be honest with yourself, but also to other people. Because remember, how we treat others also has a massive impact in our own sense of self-respect. Value your dignity enough that you don't get into situations where you're yelling back and forth with someone, that you have to raise your voice to get a point and message across. I'm not saying that you can let people cross your boundaries and all these things. You have to be firm, but you don't have to be aggressive, because once you're aggressive and use different means like your voice or even cheating, all these things to get to where you want to go, you will start losing the sense of self-respect. And every time we disrespect ourselves by putting ourselves in situations where we just put more fuel to the fire, we usually regret it afterwards. I love the saying, be kind, not nice. I think we're called to be kind to every single human, to actually love on them. And that doesn't mean to be nice to them. It is the same thing with God and how He disciplines us. He's not nice. He's not nice to us. He's kind. He's a loving God. And you would ask, why would I be kind to someone who has disrespected me, who has insulted me and hurt me? I completely understand you. And as humans, we of course want to get that person back. But remember, there are so many times that you have turned your back against God and you have disrespected God in many different ways, yet He was still kind to you, yet He still loves you so unconditionally. You need to show that same kindness to every single person around you unconditionally. And there are many days that will fail. But guys, this is why God is so important, and He actually empowers us in every area of our lives. My self respect, yes, self respect, but it actually comes from God, from knowing my value in God and what He says about me, what He says about how valuable my time is. When God, the highest of the highest, is your foundation, you will start seeing how everything in your life will shift. Your confidence, your self esteem, everything, even coming to taking care of your body. Treat your body as a temple. When you have God in you, your life completely changes. All right, my beautiful ladies, I hope you guys have gotten value from this. I really enjoyed talking about this, and I really want to emphasize on how important self-respect is. Promise me that you won't entertain friends, men, people who actually don't value your time. And please promise me that you will actually show up for yourself in every way possible. Have a lovely day or night wherever you are. Mwah.